Hello and welcome to episode 19 of Market Buy Live, and a much happier episode today because Victoria is allowed to operate. They've been allowed to go back to work almost in full, and we're going to have a chat with Market Buy's Managing Director, Dave Stewart, who of course is down in Victoria and operates out of Victoria. We're going to get an update from the front lines and just catch up with everything that has been happening. In the meantime, if you guys have got any amazing stories to share or any comments or anything like that, I am monitoring the chat, so make sure that you reach out and say g'day in the chat, and we'll answer any questions you have. Without further ado, let's welcome Dave Stewart. Dave, g'day, welcome. How is Melbourne? A little bit sunnier, I imagine, this week.
Good evening, Jonathan. Yes, there seems to be a few more smiles around the city lately.
You're a little bit quiet there, mate. You're a little bit quiet, so if you can flick the mic up, that'd be fantastic.
Chuck the headset on, see how we go.
There we go.
Better?
That's heaps better. That's heaps better. So people are smiling in Melbourne again.
Yes, mate. Yes. Well, it's been a long, hard haul for many people in Melbourne. So, realistically, I think it's just a relief more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's happening with real estate? So you guys are able to go back to open homes and things like that. Is that right?
Yeah, so we've been able to operate real estate for the last few weeks, but we've been fairly restricted in that we've had to do private inspections. We've not been able to do open homes. So it's coming a little bit back more to normal. So auctions are allowed back on the streets again. So live auctions have returned. Open for inspections have returned. Obviously, there's still restrictions as far as QR codes and density limits and that type of stuff. But, for the most part, it is a return to a much, much normal type of real estate experience for both buyers and agents.
That's absolutely fantastic. And g'day to Jeff Luby. He's jumped on and tuned in from LinkedIn. Good to see you, mate. Now, Dave, one of the things, of course, that I guess the question that has been asked of us at various times in the marketplace would be around market buyers' utility in when the world goes back to normal, as it was constantly put. We've had a month or a couple of weeks of everything sort of being as close back to normal as what we're going to see for a time. What's the results been like?
We've had a massive month. We have sold hundreds and hundreds of properties. We have smashed our records by ridiculous percentages over the previous month. And look, I've heard that said as well, but I think our test case for that is Queensland. Like, Queensland's been operating pretty much restriction free right through this whole period. They certainly haven't had the restrictions that Melbourne and Sydney have had. And 30% of our sales come from Queensland. It's one of our biggest marketplaces. So, I think there's a place for market buy. I think there's always going to be a place. And I think it has been that transition of that psychology from people to, want to do a lot of things online. And I think what, the COVID experience has taught all of us is that there are better ways to do it. Some of that old fashioned, rusted on, really old school, practices.
Careful, Dave. You're going to be upsetting some people.
Well, it's just the way it is. The world's changed. Evolution is a part of life, and we are just part. We're not the sole part, but we are one part of the evolution of real estate practice.
So, what do you think's driving? Because I mean, it'd be tempting to go back to the way it used to be and things like that. Obviously, in our belief, we believe the way it was used to be has been broken and been broken for some time. But do you feel, being on the front lines, is actually driving people to keep using online offer management platforms as we move into this post lockdown phase? Won't be post COVID; it'll be post lockdown phase.
Once they experience it, it is just a simpler, cleaner, more efficient, more effective way to transact real estate. It's just that simple. I think that initially, going back a few years, there was a fear that, we may in some way replace what the real estate agents do. And, as I've been at lengths over the previous few years, and what agents are really finding out for themselves is we're in no way a replacement for the agents. We're a support tool. And it takes a good, qualified, competent agent to use our software effectively and use it to its full advantages. And shout out to Chris Gilmore while we're here. Chris is one of our original early adopters. He's always been known as a very innovative agent, and he was one of the very first that came on board. And he has sold hundreds and hundreds of properties through us over the last couple of years. And Chris is a high volume agent who's just won the REIQ award for most settled sales and a second award for most settled commissions.
Well, there we go. There's his photo. So I took the liberty of stealing his photo there, and we've just overlaid it straight over you. And he's far
There
better
you
looking.
go.
In fact, Rachel's absolutely stunning, of course, as well. And I think maybe we just turn our cameras off. We'll just leave this up.
But Chris is a high volume agent. Him and his team, and he works with a team. They sell over 200 properties a year. And
Yeah.
you ask him where the value, and he is the quintessential highly skilled real estate agent. You ask him where the benefit of market buyers in his business is he's able to really effectively highlight to prospective vendors his ability to generate high levels of competition. He's able to really cut down a lot of his time in chasing up buyers and just giving them a really straightforward, simple platform and pathway to make offers. And he's allowed to, he's able to be a lot fairer and a lot more transparent across the board. So, I think that in itself is a testimonial as to the effectiveness of market buy in the transaction space.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that I know because look, Dave, as you know, I'm your ninja in the basement. I sit back and I look at all the stats in the back end and play with a lot of the data. And one of the things that I am seeing is a number of our agents are actually increasing their capacity. They're selling more, particularly in this hot market, but they're doing it with the same amount of commitment and same amount of time and same amount of work as what they would for when they were doing it the old way and they were having to sell significantly less.
Look, it's a streamline of the communication. It takes that base level of communication in the offer process and just ensures that all stakeholders within that transaction are delivered that information instantly without thinking about it. And from that perspective, it is invaluable. So it really does provide an excellent service for agents. And again, we always come back to the lead generation potential out of it to be able to, really effectively showcase to prospective vendors your ability to be able to generate high levels of interest and competition, and to keep them engaged in the sale, to give them some ownership in the sale, to make them feel involved. It is one of their biggest transactions in their life, and it's vitally important that they maximize their results, because at the end of the day it has significant impacts on their life going forward. So to be able to get them involved in it and to allow them to see what's going on as it unfolds, at the same time the agency offers come in, it's a massive benefit for them. But one of the things that sets us apart in the marketplace is our flexibility. Agents are able, within a single platform, are able to go in and manage the sale, to transition from one type of methodology to another type of methodology, and make those really clear strategic decisions during the course of the sale as the sale requires it, and to make those decisions in the best interest of their vendors and the sale, obviously in consultation with their vendors. And we're the only platform on the market that's able to do that, to have that level of functionality and that level of flexibility that really still maintains the listing agent in the driver's seat, gives them all the power to do all the things that they need to do within the sale, to be able to adjust to changing circumstances, and to have that flexibility to make those really critical decisions when they need to. And as I say, our results as we go month in, month out, you and I talked about this privately off air about a month ago. Like, we were really, really happy with last month's results, and then we've just gone and smashed that. Like, every month we're just smashing the previous month's results, and we're now selling, as we say, into the hundreds and hundreds of properties on a monthly basis. And I think that bodes really well for us. I think it bodes really well for those agents that have taken that step to be really innovative and to put themselves at the forefront of this technology, because eventually transactions, whether it's us or the plethora of different platforms that come out, transactions are invariably going to head online for the most part. And it's those that have taken that head start, those that are able to master it well before their competitors, that are finding they've got significant listing advantages in an appraisal with a vendor. And the stories that I hear day to day from agents that go, did you see that sale last night? And to be honest, I don't watch there's just too many sales for me to watch every day now. I troubleshoot any time that an agent's run into any sort of problems or have got a question, but I don't watch the sales anymore. I did when we did 10 sales and 20 sales, but at hundreds and hundreds, I don't anymore. But I say, they'll say, "Did you see that sale last night?" I saw the result come through. Congratulations. They go, "I listed 2 houses out of that." I've had 2 phone calls this morning from viewers that I'd put in, and I'd got a phone call this morning to say that whatever they did on that property, they want it for theirs, and that's so satisfying from our point of view, in that we can help agents keep their listing pipeline full, and provide them, the ability for them to be able to clearly demonstrate their success in working with their buyers and in creating those circumstances where buyers are given a chance to compete, fairly and openly within the transaction space. And I love that stuff, mate. It's really cool when I get those
I can
messages
I
and phone
can I
calls.
can tell, mate. I mean, one question there, and you talked as much as I usually do.
Did you have any more questions? Sorry.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. But no, look, you're bang on, and of course that's the market by partner program. One of the reasons that we built that was so that the agents who were the early adopters in their area and were getting the runs on the board, they had that ability to differentiate themselves in the market by sitting there and saying, "Hey, look, we're a market by gold partner, we're a market by platinum partner. We've been through the ringer, we've done the hard yards, we've got the results on the board." And that's why you want to go with us, is because we've mastered this process. And I think you're 100% right. Everything is going to move online, and we're starting to see that as we go back to, I keep putting it in quotations, we go back to normal, so to speak. But that it is a new normal. It is a new normal, and I think there's a lot more people that are ordering online, and even compared to before COVID, and we were pretty savvy at ordering online. I mean, I know I had a love-hate relationship with Amazon, for example, and this is now just becoming the expectation. So those agents that have taken the early steps, and the ones that are still coming on, because look, there's still areas that are resistant, and the ones that are still coming on are going to get that massive advantage.
Look, I still don't have an Uber Eats account, so I don't order everything online. But what I often get asked, why we're growing so fast and what's our success, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about why we've had such phenomenal growth, particularly over the last 12 months. And I think that was highlighted by the discussion you and I had with Chris during the course of the week.
Yeah.
We listened to our agents. Chris came back to us because of the volume of sales that he's running through us at the moment. And he said, I get a lot of listings out of this, and I'm adding viewers all the time. He said, but I've got to approve the viewers. Can you just make it so I don't have to approve viewers? Like, they can't do anything within the sale, but once I send them the invitation, I want them to be automatically approved. And we did that.
Yeah.
It took us 3 days to change that for him. And the feedback that I've had from agents over the weekend has been phenomenal. They can now, we've taken a step out for them to be able to add prospective vendors into a sale, so that they can just go and add the last 20 people they've done appraisals for, or people that are within the same sort of geographical area of the property they're selling. And you think about that from I guess an appraisal point of view. You sell a house, you've got 7 buyers on it, it sells well over what the vendors are expecting. You've got 2 or 3 potential vendors that are living within the same catchment area or the same geographical area, and they've watched that sale. As an agent, you get on the phone on Monday or Tuesday or whatever the day it is, and you say, hey, obviously, you saw that sale over the weekend, we had a massive result. Clearly we had 6 buyers on that property, we can only sell it to 1. I've got 5 buyers that are ready to go. Like, they are there, they are motivated, and they are ready to buy now. And you've seen the prices they're prepared to pay. How about I come around and have a chat to you about what we do about your property? Like, your line of resistance from that potential vendor has just diminished 1,000%.
Well, seeing is believing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and that vendor is, get your ass around here. Like, seriously, I want those buyers. I want that money that those buyers are paying. And that's the gold in what we do. And the whole journey from the day that Joel and I conceived this whole idea and started building it out from scratch to where we are now with a team of however many people we've got, has always been, this will not work if it's not a tool that our agents will embrace. And it has always been our ethos from day one, not to impose software onto our agents, but to provide software that our agents will find functional and usable.
To build the tool that they need.
All the functions, all the functionality that we have has been built by request, and look, there's some requests that we get, we'll just go, mate, I can't do that for you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just not viable. But if it's workable, and if we get enough requests that we know that it's going to be something that is going to have large scale usage, then we'll roll it out. We'll go and build it, and we'll roll that out. And I think that's that's what sets us apart in this marketplace. We are agent driven. We are unashamedly agent driven, and that means that the tools that we put out there for the agents in the marketplace are tools that they want to use, that they're happy to use, and that provides value to them in that space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's about all we've got time for, Dave. So I appreciate you jumping on and saying g'day. G'day to Peter Strav, Steve Arnold, Joe Mooney, Jeff Luby, all have jumped in the comments and said g'day. Really appreciate, Peter, your vote of support there. For those who didn't see it, I'll pop it back up. Peter's just shout out. Market by manages the offices in a way no platform does. Transparent and honest. Tell your agent to jump on it. High praise from Peter. He's the head of one of Australia's greatest prop tech success stories in Box Brownie. Joe Mooney's jumped on when we were talking about a little bit earlier. We're talking about what does the future look like? Essentially, she said it's either hybrid or fully online. There's no other way moving forward. And look, Joe, we absolutely agree with you. And of course, Joe is another one of our high performing agents who pumps a lot of volume through the site and through the platform. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Dave, thanks for joining me and having a chat. It's always a pleasure to catch up, man, and I'm stoked to see you smiling and to hear that Melbourne's smiling and things are getting back to normal, man.
Mate, the sun even came out today. It was like
How
22
good's that?
degrees. I know.
How good's that? It was cold in
was,
Queensland today.
I wouldn't.
Alrighty.
I'm not allowed to come to Queensland.
No, not yet.
Still
Not
not allowed
yet.
to cross the
You'll be
border.
able to go to New York before you can come to Queensland.
Correct.
All right. Well, that's it from us, mate. All your building and pest inspections go through without a hitch, and all your buyers be paying cash. Bye for now.
See you guys.